Well, howdy, 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 everybody. Theresa here. Me and the critters and...
Brad.
Brad. Hi, honey.
Hi, baby.
It is March 19th, 2020. It is Thursday evening at 6:54 p.m. By this time, you guys are noticing that I'm actually uploading about a day behind. That's kind of nice for us because it gives us a little bit more time, you know. And so you guys are always seeing a video that's been shot the day before. So, with that, first and foremost, we can go ahead and say, since we were wanting to announce this on Friday, and this will be uploaded Friday, that Brad was home today because he was not feeling well, and he was very upset stomach, and the upchucks and the one upchucks and the dry heaves and everything this morning. Right, hon?
Yeah.
It's been happening more and more, and Brad and I have been talking about it with so many things going on, and also with the threat of the coronavirus, and the more that you are, exposed to it, the more likelihood you could get it, or you could carry it home to your family and stuff. So with that, and with us talking a lot, you guys know that we had already made the decision to have him stop working the end of this month. Well, things have changed a little bit, and what have we decided now, honey?
Tomorrow's the day.
Tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow, Brad will give his notice, and he will go clean out his desk, and that will be it. It just is too hard on his body. He is in more and more pain. I think a lot of it has to do with sitting that much. And even though he can raise the desk up and down and all that, but when you're sitting, like his feet and stuff have started to really swell by the time he gets home. He's in so much pain. When he's off on the weekend, the pain never goes away, but it starts to let up enough that he can handle it by Monday. And then by Wednesday, he's hash. He's had it. He's hash. He's in so much pain. He is not getting enough quality sleep that I feel comfortable him even driving to work. I worry about him falling asleep at the wheel, even though I know you do everything you can. And it just isn't worth it. We just have to tighten our belts a lot more. We're good at that.
Mm-hmm.
We're good at making things last.
Mm-hmm.
Brad's already seen I've already started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I'll do with my dogs, since they usually eat rice with their chicken, is if I have like leftover potatoes or leftover cooked cabbage, something like that, I'll put that in, and then you use a little bit less rice. It extends the rice, and that way nothing goes to waste. They like a little bit different. They like their vegetables. They'll cook vegetables, don't you, Charlie? And Nixie. So,
Yes, they do.
We've been doing that. And so, yeah, it's time for a change. It's only a matter of about 8 days, 7, 8 days. Yeah, it'll make, things tighter financially, but we'll make it.
Uh-huh.
We always do. His overall health is what matters the most. I can't ever replace him, and nor would I ever want to. And,
But, and a lot of times you just get to a point where, you wonder, is it worth it?
Right. Right. When you're in that much pain every night, he comes home, he can barely walk. He's in so much pain, and the later the night grows, the more pain. He about gets to sleep about 4 o'clock in the morning. He's got to get up 6:30.
Yeah.
And, especially I know when I try to normally get up with him in the morning just because, number one, to keep him awake, and because I like having morning coffee with him and, we'll chit-chat a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But when he is so tired that even though I've gotten up with him, he'll say, I need to set my alarm for in a half hour and stuff because it's just not worth it. It just you know. I mean, we've already done our time. We were talking about this. We've done our time. He spent how many years at Albertsons?
34.
34 years. And a lot of that was really miserable. He did it so he would have the pension that he has coming in. You know, we've done all the late nights, the weekends, the holidays. I mean, everything. You know, his body shows it. You know, I mean, that is 34 years of working stock. You know, of doing a lot of heavy lifting. What? Hi, pretty girl. And it's just not worth it. You better watch that, honey.
I know.
Because she's really.
I
But
know what. Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
A lot of times on TV, movies and stuff, they show that most of the time they depict people working in a grocery store as stupid, lazy, unmotivated. You don't need to know anything, and it's the philosophies behind grocery stores. I mean, it's a lot more involved than most people realize. And when you're on your feet 8+ hours a day, and I did that for 34 years, and then after I retired from there, I worked other storefront retail for another 6 years.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of years on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Except we're lucky he doesn't have carpal tunnel. We're really lucky he doesn't have carpal tunnel. But, so yeah, we've come to that decision, and tomorrow he's gonna, you know, no, he's not giving, you know, 2-week notice or anything. You know, when you're in that kind of pain and stuff, you know, and they know it. They know that he's, you know, not, that he really is in a lot of pain. As he put it, they know he's not a well man. Yeah, we've come to that decision, and we're happy with that decision. And look, all that yarn they had on that table. We're watching, what is it?
First 48.
Yeah, and they had a kitchen table, and it was a nice box with balls of yarn and some knitting needles. But anyway, so we've come to that decision, so you'll be seeing him more. We are, and I know we've said it before, but we are really hoping once we get into a groove that we will be taking you guys to show you more things when we're not under quarantine, self-quarantine. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you know, in the future. But even like around here and stuff, you know, outside and everything, we want to start being able to go for little walks. You know, you can still do that and not be in close proximity to somebody. And we want to do a lot of spring cleaning here, so, you know, when we do move in the future, and nobody knows when, but, you know, things will be all set. And we've lived here over 2 years. We need to do some reorganization, some purging, that kind of stuff, right, hon? So, we did get out a little bit today, just to get a few supplies. We went to Dollar General, and they were pretty well stocked for the most part. They were more stocked than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Like they had plenty of milk and eggs and cheese and stuff. Yeah, that was really weird how they had the sour cream and stuff out. I don't know if they knew that had been left on the shelf.
Well, there was a lady over there, and I don't know if she was actually
working or not. Yeah, I kind of was wondering that too.
Yeah.
But they had containers of sour cream sitting out on a shelf, and we weren't sure if she was working the dairy or if another worker had left that there.
Yeah.
But no toilet paper, but we're doing fine for now. They did have paper towels, but we didn't buy any because, you know, we have enough paper towels, so leave that for somebody else. I didn't bother looking to see if they had baby wipes and stuff. Because I don't have a baby. So, yeah, but we got a few supplies.
Yep.
And I was worried about having enough dish soap. Because I usually have one. I always use Dawn, and I usually have one in the pantry. And then we're using one. And so Brad was able to find some of that.
Yep.
And stuff. Their prices weren't too bad. I mean, I always like their prices on certain things. So now that we'll have a little more time and stuff, I probably will start shopping there for some things. So we're doing a self-quarantine, which means that nobody comes in to the house and we don't go out unless it's for supplies. And then it's very limited. So, as much as we love our friends and stuff, nobody's coming over.
Yeah.
And it's just not safe because, the more that people are around each other is the more chance you have of getting the coronavirus. So definitely don't want that. So yeah, we're just kind of hunkering down, which is kind of what we do anyway.
Yep.
We kind of took today off of doing much. I just got done feeding the animals and stuff, and I was going to do the dishes. Once you put away the dishes, I'll do them. Okay? Because I hate putting away dishes with a passion. I hate it. I will wash dishes all day long, but I hate putting away clean dishes. I don't know why. I don't know what my defect is, but I just do. So Brad usually puts them away, and I usually do the majority of them. So we'll start kind of splitting the housework and stuff. This last summer was kind of a preview, but it's different between getting laid off and quitting work. And this is Brad's absolute final time of being employed. He just can't. He'll be filing for disability. We'll start going through that because nobody knows how long we're going to all go through this with this coronavirus. Because now they're saying up to 18 months. Nobody knows. So, it could really postpone our plans on moving to Georgia and our daughters moving to Georgia. So it's okay. While we call this trailer shitbox, basically. We do.
Well, I know, but
hey, I just say how it is. You know that.
I know.
It's livable, and we should be grateful for what we have, and we are, and we'll just make the most of it. Certainly not going to move out because I'm glad that we didn't go rent something more expensive.
Yep.
Because then, if you get where you've got so many expenses, you don't have any choices.
Yeah.
And I'd rather live in a smaller place that we can afford than get into an expensive place that you don't have any choices.
Yep. And,
so, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, and
hi, baby girl.
Over the years, we've seen a lot of people that are house poor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or see both spectrums.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember years before I met you, I lived in that one section of Casper that is traditionally the lower income area, and all the people that were out there were basically they lived in the, to quote Theresa, shit boxes, but then they had the really, really expensive vehicles.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I didn't really think theirs were really, most of them. Some of them were quite nice.
What?
Houses out there.
Later on, but like when I lived out there.
They weren't.
Yeah.
Well, we call this one that, and I should probably not call it that. So please, I don't want to offend anybody. It's just the landlord won't fix anything.
Yeah.
It could be quite nice if he would fix stuff.
Yeah.
But some of this stuff, sadly, we're going to have to go through and kind of patch and stuff just because we have to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I did think that was a bad idea about doing the cardboard. So
Yeah.
yeah. You guys probably wondered about halftime. Like, what the hell are they talking about?
Huh.
Well, yeah, you know, Brad and I talking like half sentences because we've been together for so long that we generally know what the other person.
Yep.
We're picking up with the other person laying down.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because my best friend's home again,
And you be stuck with me.
and that'll be nice. It'll be really nice. You know, we can help each other because, you know, when one person's having a rougher day, the other person can, you know, and when we're both having a rough day, then it's just pull your covers up over your head and just hide out till the next day.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, we're making our own ice. We are in this quarantine, people. We are making our own ice again. Right, honey?
Yes, we are.
We're doing that. Because, you know, well, I mean, you think about it, and it's like, what do you think we probably go through? Like, maybe 3 bags of ice a week? I think so.
Maybe 2 to 3.
So that's $6.
Yep.
So that's $24 a month.
Yep.
24 to $26 a month. That can, you know, be put in car gas.
That can add up.
That can buy a lot of cat litter. You know.
Yes,
So,
you can.
You know, it all adds up, though. It all really does. And to not having to run around and search for ice and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because right now, you know, supplies are limited, and I think everybody should do their part to just get what you need. Don't go crazy. I know a lot of the stores now are limiting everybody to like 2 on stuff because people are going in and buying just obscene amounts of, and it's like, you know, if I'm standing there and there's 2 or 3 other people standing there, I don't want to sit there or stand there and take everything off of that shelf.
Well,
that's just rude.
DG had that sign on the doors we were walking in to limit, and it had a list of the stuff, but limit.
Oh,
limit yourself to no more than 3 of one item.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
Yep.
So, probably what, toilet paper?
Yeah, and I don't.
I know the little gal told us at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning there would be more toilet paper. But, you know, we're still doing fine on it, so we're not going to let other people go there at 8 in the morning and get what they need.
And
they might have a lot of heinies to wipe.
And we have pine needles outside. We can use those if we get desperate.
Really? Well, I thought we just scoot on the sand.
Well, yeah, you can do that too. And if you're going to use pine needles, make sure and point them in the right direction.
Well, you only make that mistake once.
Yes, you do.
These people are like, oh, Lord.
I know.
She was bad enough, but now him?
Yep.
You know, so that's about what we've done today is, you know, I basically kind of told Brad, I can tell Brad anything I want to, but whether or not he listens is, you know, up to him. But I informed him very strongly that I didn't think he should go to work this morning because what happened was he wasn't feeling very good. He hasn't gotten a decent amount of sleep in a number of nights again. And he got up and he did eat a banana because I had one on hand. Don't ask. Yeah, I just keep bananas in my hip pocket, you know, and I pull it out like you would a pistol, and I
don't even
point it at him.
I don't even.
You were shocked though when you said you were going to take your pills, and I said don't take them on an empty stomach, and you said you didn't have anything, and I said I have a banana, and tossed it over at him. So
my wife has a loaded banana.
Yes. So he ate the banana, he took his pills, and shortly thereafter, I saw him get green around the gills. And I'm like, you gonna throw up? You gonna throw up? So I gave him this bowl. It was a popcorn bowl, okay? And of course, Brad had to make the comment because it had a few unpopped kernels in it. Oh, good. What'd you say? Something about, oh, good. This will go well with the puke. Or...
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, And then,
bad texture to it or something.
yeah,
I don't
he got
remember.
sick to his stomach, and I'm like, you shouldn't go to work. You really should not go to work. And so he agreed with me. I'm still kind of rather shocked that he did. And you have to understand, my husband never called in sick for years. He could be bleeding, from having lost his arm, and he still would go to work. Because he just, So for him to ever call in or anything, this is so unlike you. I mean, you've never called in on any other job, and not had where you need to be off for a while because you needed to mend a
Yep.
broken bone or something. But yeah, I knew that he had it, and then we had the talk about. We've been talking for a while about work, and and I can tell when he's just done with something. Just
Well, you get to that point where, I mean, when so often, and I believe it's more so with men than with women, but both genders, there's so much of their life and their world that is just defined by their job.
Yeah.
And
And we're not saying everybody's different.
yeah.
But you do know people that are maybe in their 70s or that are still working, and it's not that they really love working, but they wouldn't know what else to do if they weren't. It isn't that they necessarily have to have the money or anything, but it's just, they wouldn't know what else to do.
Well, when I was running the liquor store in Wyoming, there were so many guys that they were so excited because they were going to retire, and then they retired, and then they didn't know what to do with their life. And a lot of these guys, they would retire, and usually within 6 months they drank themselves to death.
Yeah.
And but I am of that mind that me working is not that important. There's other things in life that I would much rather do than spend my time working. I'd much rather try to drive you crazy.
Hasn't worked yet.
And what?
Hasn't worked yet.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, but I have never really.
Do you want to go there?
Yeah.
Do you want to go there?
Yeah.
Do you want to throw that gauntlet down, young
hell
man?
yeah, woman.
Okay.
You have no idea what I am capable of.
But when I made this point to Brad the other day that when I met him, he wasn't all consumed with making money either, because he normally would work enough to pay his bills, and then you would give shifts away. So you weren't concerned about having a lot of extra money or anything.
No.
And, we're just that way. At the end of my life with Brad, I want it to be that we got to spend a lot of time together. So that means right away we're not going to worry about getting a second vehicle. Why would we worry about getting a second vehicle if we're home all together all the time? We would like to get a vehicle, a second vehicle, just because this one needs to kind of be a project vehicle, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out in time.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna figure it all. We'll get same kind of insurance we had before, where we self-pay, and we'll take it from there.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And we'll just wait and see what happens with the coronavirus and everything. But nobody knows. Nobody knows, because they say now it could be 18 months. Some people are saying. Some people are like, oh, no, it's not going to be as bad. Everybody's hearing the different reports, and I know a lot of people are tired of hearing it. We listen to it just very briefly, like usually in the morning when we get up, and then in the evening. and then we shut it off because it does get be very depressing.
Yep.
So who knows what's going to happen? Sometimes you got to just take stuff day by day too. And that's what they're saying. Some people are like, oh, you should be buying supplies for 2 weeks, and then other people are saying, buy enough supplies for a week.
Yep.
And stuff. Because, you want there to be enough for everybody else. If I need if there's a gallon of milk, and there's me, and there's a family that's got kids, that's who it should go to.
Yep.
Now, there was plenty of milk today. It was jam full. Before I forget, I want to tell my good friend Kathy, thank you. Got your hats in. I got your sweet note. And I want to show the hats that she made. Oh, yeah, she told me that. Oh, those smells so good, by the way.
I noticed that.
You did?
Yeah.
It's rose. This is rose, and she did them into these sachets so I could put them in drawers and stuff. Because she knows I really love the scent of rose. She and I were talking about that. Again, this is StoneCityFarms.com. And they're in Washington State, and it's made from, it's goat milk it's made from, and they have a beautiful operation there. They even have goat yoga. If you live up in that area, you could go for goat yoga, or they have soap making classes and stuff, and I'm good friends with Kathy, and she does all the knitting, like there's the washcloths. There's like sets, like with washcloths and soaps and stuff, and then she spoils me with this. This is like, you could use it as it's a sample. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, sometimes it's hard to get that past that light, but then I can put it in drawers and stuff. Thank you so much, Kathy. That really is awesome. And she sends hats almost every month, and then she usually sends a cash donation to help with the shipping, which we really appreciate so much.
Yeah.
But I want to show her hats. I love her hats. They're so neat. Here's a child's one. This one is really pretty. It's really soft, too. It's just such nice work.
Yes, she does.
All of my ladies that send hats, yarn scraps, donations, that's so soft, too. They do such beautiful work. Oh, this one's neat looking.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this. Isn't that neat looking?
That is cool.
Wow, that is really cool. And then, there's this one, too. Isn't that pretty? Thank you so much, Kathy. I really appreciate it. This will go in with the all the other hats, and then they will be distributed to Iowa this month, which is state number 36.
That's incredible.
State number 36, hon. We're getting there.
That is very incredible.
Yeah, we're getting there.
And it's just, to me, it is, I know I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it, but to me, it is just so amazing that the hats that you guys put out, they're not just one color, paper thin, I mean,
there's a lot of love put in each hat.
And they're so unique, which,
and that's what I love, because each one of my ladies do different types of hats, and so it really makes a neat mix. I mean, I would love to be a little fly on the wall when they are putting these hats out, when they're getting the hats out of the box and they're putting them out, and they see all this array of all these colors and patterns and different stitches and stuff, and they know that it's not just 50 hats, black hats that just are generic, and not that there's anything wrong with that if that's your thing, but I just want there to be that somebody's like, hey, that hat, I really love that hat, and or some little girl or boy is like, that's why I like to put like little frogs or dinosaurs or something on if I think it's more of a male oriented hat because I want them to feel like, hey, I got something special.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else, honey?
No, I think you guys got it all covered.
Do you?
I do.
We're having spam.
Ooh.
We're having some spam tonight, and we are having some macaroni and cheese. So we got to make, which won't take very long. But that's what. It's just a box macaroni and cheese, not anything fancy. But you know, we're conserving the money, honey.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
The dogs will be very happy that he's home because last time when he started back to work, his dog, Nixie, cried every time he left. She would. She would cry every time he left.
Well, she's a little baby.
They've been fighting at night because they go over on his bed at night. And then Nixie gets her nose out of joint a little bit because Charlie is like, you know, he's bigger than her and he kind of takes up more room and she really wants her dad all to herself. Sometimes they both sleep over there with you. They did last night.
I know. He kind of takes more room.
Are you size shaming him?
I am.
My daughter has this cat. This cat's name is Apollo. And I don't know if it's actually kind of a munchkin cat or not. It's got super short front legs. I don't know how. The long legs are not as short as the long legs. The back legs are not quite as short. But and this cat, how much pounds did she say that cat weighs right now?
Like 17 pounds or something.
And he's only 8 months old.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was teasing her last night because she usually sends me a daily picture. I always say he's my cat. He's not my cat, he's her cat. But I always say that's my cat, and so she usually sends me a daily picture of him. And then, yes, last night I was like, are you size shaming him? You know, and so then you were giving her a hard time about that, and, you know.
Well, we were talking about...
Sometimes we get her both going.
Or we both get her going.
Yeah, because we won't know that each of us is texting her at the same time, but she can keep up with us.
Yeah, well, yeah. If she was old, but yeah, she and I were talking about one of the cats that we had a long time ago.
Tigger?
Bitsy.
Bitsy, yeah, Bitsy.
We were talking about Bitsy, and...
what, she was only 7 pounds?
Yeah, Bitsy was my cat, and she was a little tiny thing, but she had attitude. She had a lot of big attitude, and she was, like Theresa said, she weighed at about 7 pounds at her heaviest. But
teeny tiny cat.
Yeah, but it was funny because she would walk across the living room, and the dogs would get up and move. It was like the parting of the Red Sea.
She would get that real pronounced shoulder roll going, you know, that cats and you know, any of the cat family gets going.
The big cats.
Yeah. And you would just, I was scared, okay? And I used to do this thing that I would do the whistling like the wind. And I would try to do it where she thought it was Brad doing it. She would come from wherever and come and bite you.
And she didn't just bite.
No,
she would bite and shake.
Yeah. So, and like if we were gone on a trip, you know, because you can leave cats for a few days, and then you would come home, Brad knew that he was in trouble. She was going to ignore him until she came up and she'd bite him on the hand, and then all was forgiven.
And she wouldn't just bite; she would bite and shake.
Well, that's how you ever noticed her. We were at it's story time now with the animals. Aren't you guys thrilled? Anyway, we were at the dog pound there in Casper, and we were looking at this one cat, which we ended up getting. Her name was Misty. And right next to her was the cage that Bitsy was in, and Brad stuck his thumb or your finger in the cage.
Oh, I was reaching to pet Misty.
Oh, I thought you stuck your finger
No.
in Bitsy.
No, I went over to pet Misty, and Bitsy's paws came shooting out of the cage, and she sunk her claws into my arm and pulled it back and bit me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "She bit me," and Theresa said, "We'll take her."
Yeah, we took them both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one of them was supposed to be put to sleep that night?
I think it was Misty was supposed to be put to sleep that night, and Bitsy was the next night.
Yeah.
And
they always loved each other too.
we lost Misty when she was about 12 or 13, and then we lost Bitsy when she was about 20.
Yeah. Yep. Little tiny cat, and she had her tail had been broken, and then I guess part of it had fallen off maybe or something.
Yeah.
But it was curled around, and sometimes she would get that caught on something. You had to be real careful. In fact, our vet thought that he might eventually have to amputate that tail, and he never had to. We were just always super careful.
Yeah.
Once in a while, she'd catch it on something and let out a cry, and oh, you'd feel so bad. But yeah, that was your love-a-dova.
Yeah, she was my baby.
And sometimes you swear that her spirit lives in your dog, because Nixie does a lot of stuff with her paws like a cat would do, and just some of the attitude.
Some.
You guys know, you guys that are pet lovers know how much your animals become your babies. Once your babies are all grown and left home, or maybe you've been a fur mom, or whether that was by choice or just happens to be the way it is.
Yep.
So anyway, we're gonna let you guys go because this is 36 minutes.
Holy
dude.
smoke!
Well, because you're talking and you're just like blah 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 blah. I'm just teasing though. I'm teasing you.
I know.
Oh God, here we go again, people.
I can take it.
You done yet?
I'm done.
Wow, that was boring. Dog didn't even care.
No.
Dog does not care, right, Charlie? Oh, Charlie's right. Oh, sorry, Charlie. You know what I accidentally did? The cat turned and I was feeding her and she forked herself in the side of her little face because I had the fork there, and she must not have hurt her because she didn't do anything. And I tried to check her, and there were no holes, but I felt bad because I had that fork there, and I put her dish down, and she turned her head, and it's just like, I felt bad.
So you're forking the cat?
Yeah.
Okay.
A real forker. What the fork?
Nothing. Never mind.
What the fork? I gotta do the cat litter box too.
Talk to them.
I'm just looking at you, weirdo.
You have told me in the past that I'm so distracting. I am trying.
You are very distracting.
I am trying.
You guys know this. He is so distracting. Now, I'm going to have to teach him all over how to behave in my house. Okay?
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Okay, bye. Anyway, I do love you guys, and I do cherish your friendship very much, even though you're not going to see this until Friday, because I still got to upload the one I did yesterday today. Right, Brad?
Right.
But anyway, I do love you guys, and I think you guys are awesome, and we will see you tomorrow. Say bye, Brad.
Bye, Brad.
You guys have a great night. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.